I'm Commissioner Joshua Boyle. This is initial appearance court. So I'm explaining to you your charges, your court dates, your bond, and your release conditions. If you do not like the bond and release conditions that I set for you today, please know that anytime you see a judge, it is possible that those can be modified. Also, most of you will be appointed an attorney. You can speak with your attorney about how to request modification of the bond and release conditions. If you have any questions for me, I welcome those, but I ask that you please wait for me to finish explaining all of the information that I have for you about your case. Once I'm finished, I will give you an opportunity to be heard. I promise I will consider what you have to say. However, I wish to remind you that you have the right to remain silent, and what you say in court today can be used against you in your case in the future. I just want to take just a brief moment to speak to you all personally. It's Sunday evening. I know you all have things and places you'd rather be right now than in jail or an initial appearance court. And so I want you to know it's not my job to decide whether you are innocent or guilty. It's a question of whether there's probable cause. I won't get into all the details of that. But remember, you are innocent unless proven guilty. Those of you being released today, it's going to be about 4 to 6 hours before you are released. Some of you are going to be here longer than that. Like I said, I'm not deciding whether you're guilty, but if you know that there's things that you've done that have led you to be here, I hope you'll take some time and think about those things. Ask yourself some hard questions about what needs to change or what could be done differently. Maybe there's people you need to avoid, situations you need to avoid. Maybe there's people or organizations that you can reach out to. Say, hey, I need some help. So asking for help is one of the greatest signs of strength. It's not a sign of weakness. I know a number of you are struggling with substance abuse addiction. And maybe you've tried quitting before and it hasn't worked. Don't give up on yourselves, please. There's people who never thought they'd be able to get clean. And there's one person's story, it took him 31 times of going to rehab before he was able to get clean. But he says it's totally worth it. And that's a lot of work, but man, was it worth it. And so again, if you're in that situation, just keep trying and know that you can be a good resource to other people struggling too. Good people have spent time in custody. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was arrested a number of times. Dr. King said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. So I know it's a disappointment to have to be here today, but don't lose hope because there's going to be another day tomorrow and another day after that. And I hope all those days or as many of those days as possible are good days for you. I've been at initial appearance court for 3 years now doing this, and this is my last time doing it. I'm moving to a different division. So I just want to, since this is a public hearing, I want to state publicly how much I appreciate the people that I've worked with, the courtroom assistants, the detention officers, pretrial services, the medical people, staff here. There are so many good people in the world doing good things. And, I think among all the problems in the world, one of them I've heard that I personally agree with is that a lot of people don't know how things work. And I wish more people could see what happens here and see what these officers do and what the people do to make things function so well. So again, I just want to state that, how much I love and appreciate the officers here, the courtroom assistants, again, everybody that works here to make this work. I'm also just going to share with you briefly, well, if I can, I'm sorry, but just some parts of a poem called Desiderata. It was written in 1927 by Max Ehrmann. And so maybe these have certainly meant a lot to me, and maybe these will mean something to all of you as well. So go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery, but let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. And again, that's Max Ehrmann, Desiderata. Highly recommend it. Okay, thank you for indulging me for a little bit. We'll start with Anthony Reyes, and then Thomas McIntyre will be on deck. Good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Anthony Philip Reyes.
Your date of birth, Mr. Reyes?
Oh,
Mr. Reyes. Sir, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations, one count of criminal damage, a Class 5 felony, one count of criminal trespass, and the second degree, a Class 2 misdemeanor. I've appointed you an attorney. Your case will be heard at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. You have a status conference December 2nd, 8:31 a.m. Preliminary hearing December 4th, 8:31 a.m. Mr. Reyes, you were on felony release at the time you were arrested, so that means you are non-bondable at this time. And I have no choice in that.
No, sir, but sir, that's the thing.
Just one moment, Mr. Reyes, just one moment. Let me just finish this, and I promise I'll hear from you. So you have an evidentiary hearing December 3rd, 1:30 p.m. The judge at that time will determine whether you are bondable and what your release conditions will be. Mr. Reyes, you have something you wish to say?
Yes, the whole thing with this was a complete misunderstanding, and the lieutenant who went over there, I'm telling you, sir, I went in there for help, like you said. You said you go ask for help. Mm-hmm. I got released on Project Bill, and I did it myself. I'm an army discharged veteran. I fought so hard. I got 63 days stay clean. Yeah. I went to the hospital to get my hands seen. No, I just you gotta hear me out, please. Please, so you gotta understand. If I don't get into this I have a program set up for this week to go. I did it on my own. I got 2 different ones. I've done everything I was been told I was asked. But the police officers told me that, it was all a complete misunderstanding. I didn't hurt nobody. I didn't damage nothing. The criminal, you said the probable cause is wrong because if you see this is an abandoned building, that the things were already there. They said I damaged something that was already broken because I felt like I'd rather die than go back to prison because I will die in here. I need help. Another day in here, I can't do it. I tried everything you guys told me. I tried to work the system. I did the package. I did everything I did. I found a way to get myself out when I have nobody out there. I have a 10-year-old daughter that I'm fighting to get back in her life. Another 2 weeks, 10 days, that's it. You understand what it's going to do. They all told me if I came in, that they would give me help. I told them I need to go to the hospital. I need to get this I got to do this. I haven't had medication right for years, and I still managed to stay clean. Even in here, it was hard. I mean, like, I would normally just be quiet and take, but at this time, it's not right. It's not justice. I never hurt nobody. I never had one violent crime. I fought for this country hard. I mean, you understand, sir? Like, and for the be just, it's wrong. I fought so hard just to get this bond. And you know what I mean? You understand? Like, and to be back in here for another time. I'd rather die, honestly, sir, because I'm trying. I've tried so hard. I'm clean. I'm finally clean. Right when I'm at the cusp, I went to the hospital so my hand gets seen, so I could go to my probation officer and that program. Like I went and got help instead of taking drugs, and that's what happened. Now I get trespass and all this other crap happens. I didn't. It just make no sense, sir.
So Mr. Reyes, listen, I hear what you're saying, and I reviewed your history. I mean, I know that you've been through a lot, and.
I don't understand. Like, you know how hard I fight this.
No, Mr. Reyes, I think you are fighting it, sir, and I think you've done a good job with that. I genuinely do. The problem is, it's the way I don't have an ability to do something different here.
If you just read the report that what the officer said, if the officer even said that the freaking. Oh my God!
Right. So Here's what I'll say, Mr. Reyes. I don't think you intentionally, Mr. Reyes. Let me explain to you. I don't think that you necessarily intentionally did something to damage property or anything like that.
Abandoned buildings we damaged, sir.
Right. Okay, Mr. Reyes. Again, I understand this, but understand that the hospital is saying no, that this was their property, that it was damaged, and the problem is that probable cause is a really low standard. Once probable cause has been found, it just means could you be charged with it. Once I find probable cause, it's out of my hands. I can't do anything different.
I mean, I'm sure that's what I'm saying. Before knowing all that, I mean, finding probable cause, you understand? I'm not kidding. You guys better take me to a private room. I cannot do this anymore. I'm done. I've got nothing left to give.
Well, and Mr. Reyes, here's what else I'll say is I wish I had other options of what I could do in this situation. Again, the way the law is written, I don't.
If you change your mind on probable cause, you don't have to see it because you didn't see the probable cause. You didn't see the pictures or you didn't see what was going on.
No, but Mr. Reyes, I have to accept what the police wrote in terms of probable cause. And again, it's the hospital that's reporting that there was damage.
I just want to record in it that I've been lied to and screwed off by everybody here. I got clean for no reason. It's the first time that something supposed to be wrong. And I left the situation because I was trying to avoid any kind of violence or anything like that. So I get fucked over and over again. I will not come back to another court. I'm not going to kill myself right now. I want it to be known because I can't do this anymore, sir. I got no kind of medication. You guys are screwing me over time and time again. I fought for this country for nothing, to be thrown away. And I'm going to lose my daughter because of this case. You think 10 days is nothing? 8 days is September 8th? That's it.
Mr. Reyes, I don't think this is nothing, sir. So,
I want to deal with that. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want that shit, man.
good luck to you, Mr. Reyes. Thomas McIntyre and then Christopher Fredericks will be on deck. Good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Thomas McIntyre.
Thank you, Mr. McIntyre. Mr. McIntyre, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegation. One count of theft of means of transportation is a Class 3 felony. I have appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference December 2nd, 8:31 a.m. Preliminary hearing December 4th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. McIntyre, I am setting bond amount of $5,000 in your case. That is a secured appearance bond. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $5,000 would be $500. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You will see pretrial services for supervision. You also must comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You're also not to possess any weapons, and you must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department. Mr. McIntyre, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Christopher Fredericks and then Edward Esquivel will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Christopher Michael Fredericks.
Fredericks. Mr. Fredericks, you're here on a Superior Court failure to appear warrant. You have a status conference December 2nd, 8:31 a.m. Preliminary hearing December 4th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I am affirming bond in the amount of $2,500. That is a secured appearance bond, meaning you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral, which would be $250. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You will see pretrial services for supervision, and you also must comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Mr. Fredericks, do you have any questions? All right. Thank you, sir. Edward Esquivel and then Karina Marcuzzi will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Edward Santiago Esquivel, March.
Thank you, Mr. Esquivel. Mr. Esquivel, you're here on a Superior Court failure to appear warrant. I find probable cause for the allegations. One count of possession or use of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony. One count of possession or use of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. One count of shoplifting, removal of goods, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference December 4th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Let's see. Oh, excuse me, it's a failure to appear warrant, so it's not probable cause, that's just the charges. I'm affirming bond the amount of $900. It is secured appearance. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. It's less than $1,000, so some companies may not work with that number. My understanding is that there are some that will. So if you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with pretrial services supervision. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. Mr. Esquivel, do you have any questions?
Sir, so I'm 23. I'm young, and I messed up before, and it's the last time they released me with no bond and on pretrial services, and I'm just jumping through CPS cases because my kid was just born, and I didn't show up to the place. I didn't know that means, like, I thought I just had to show up for the court date as long as I didn't mess up. And I'm just asking for one more shot, please. I'm broke, and I can't mess up with my CPS case. My newborn kid was just born. I'm just asking for one more shot, please. I'm trying.
Yeah, so Mr. Esquivel, I mean, here's the issue, sir, is that, I mean, you've got so many failures to appear.
You can't put me on an ankle monitor?
No, Mr. Esquivel, I mean, every time you come, we tell you, you've got to go to your next court date. So for you to not understand that it was about whether you mess up or not.
No, I was going to show up to my court date, but it's because I didn't show up to the pretrial service office.
But even then, sir, I mean, the problem is, again, it's that you've missed over and over again, and so...
Yeah, but my kid wasn't born then, sir. Like, I'm trying as a father now. It's different. Like...
Yeah. Mr. Esquivel, I wish the situation was different, sir. I genuinely do. but you've got to go to court. And so I know that you want to be released. From my perspective, if you can't get yourself to court, then the kindest thing I can do is to ensure that you get to court.
I promise you I'll make it to court next time.
I'm going to keep the bond in place. So thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Talk about a man of chances, but sure.
Karina Marcuzzi and then Noel Ruiz will be on deck. Good evening, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Karina Ann Marcuzzi, 6.
Thank you, Ms. Marcuzzi. Ms. Marcuzzi, you're here on 2 Superior Court probation failure to appear warrants. So I have appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing December 2nd, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I am affirming the bond amount of $250 in each warrant. Total bond is $500. It is secured appearance, meaning you can pay that amount directly or work with a bail bonding company. It's less than $1,000. There may be some companies that don't work with that number, but I believe there are some that will.
Okay.
If you pay your bond, and by the way, again, you can pay it yourself or work with the bonding company. If you pay it, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol. You must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department and contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Ms. Marcuzzi, do you have any questions?
No.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to
Thank
you. Noel Castro Ruiz and then Lonnie Musi will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
No, Josue Castro Ruiz.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ruiz. Mr. Ruiz, you are here on a Superior Court new case and on a Superior Court probation violation warrant. Just one moment, please. Yeah, it's a failure to appear warrant. All right. Mr. Ruiz, in your new case, I find probable cause for the allegations of 1 count of possession or use of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession, use of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony, 1 count of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, a Class 3 misdemeanor. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference December 2nd, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing December 4th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I am setting bond amount of $500 in this case. You have a $100 bond in your probation case, so total is $600. That's secured appearance. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. It's less than $1,000. Some companies may not work with that number. My understanding is that there are some that will. I don't know what their terms would be, though. So if you pay your bonds, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to possess any weapons. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol. You must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department and contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Now, regarding your probation matter, again, this is for failure to appear, so I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing December 2nd, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Bonds in the amount of $100, as I stated earlier. Again, same conditions and restrictions of release. Mr. Ruiz, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Lonnie Musi and then Azuria Miguel will be on deck. Good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Lonnie Robert Mason.
Thank you, sir. How did you pronounce your last name again?
Macy.
Macy. Thank you, Mr. Macy. Sir, you're here on a Pinal County Superior Court warrant charged with 1 count of possession or use of dangerous drugs, a Class 4 felony. I have appointed you an attorney for limited representation regarding the bond issue only, and you have an arraignment hearing at the Pinal County Superior Courthouse November 27th, 8:30 a.m. Bonds in the amount of $500. It's secured appearance. You can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. It's less than $1,000, so some companies may not work with that number. I believe there are some that will, but I don't know what their terms would be. So if you pay your bond, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Mr. Macy, do you have any questions?
No, thanks.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Azuria Miguel and then Mitchell Lamb Davies will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Azariah Miguel.
Thank you, Mr. Miguel. Mr. Miguel, you're here on a Guadalupe Municipal Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegation. 1 count of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, which is a misdemeanor. You're not entitled to court-appointed counsel due to the nature of this charge. However, you can hire your own attorney if you wish to do so.
Okay.
You have an arraignment hearing December 11th, 8:30 a.m. at the Guadalupe Municipal Courthouse. Mr. Miguel, I am going to release you on your own recognizance. So that means you're going to leave here. It'll be about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. Mr. Miguel, do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Mitchell Lamb Davies and then Jesus Maldonado Lopez will be on deck. Good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Mitchell Lam Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb Davis. Sir, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations. One count of aggravated assault of an officer, a Class 2 felony. One count of resisting arrest using physical force, a Class 6 felony. One count of DUI, a Class 1 misdemeanor. One count of criminal damage, a Class 2 misdemeanor. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference December 9th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing December 12th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Lamb Davis, I didn't see any criminal history, so I am going to release you on supervised release. That means you will be leaving here. It should be about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you are promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You must comply with pretrial services supervision and with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol, and you must submit to DNA testing at the arresting police department within 5 days of today's date. Mr. Lamb Davis, do you have any questions?
None from me, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Jesus Lopez and then Danny Finley will be on deck.
Good morning, John.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Yes, sir. Jesus Maldonado Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Mr. Lopez, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations. One count of possession or use of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony. One count of possession or use of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference December 9th, 8:31 a.m. Preliminary hearing December 12th, 8:31 a.m. That's at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Lopez, I am going to release you on your own recognizance.
Yes, sir.
So you are going to leave here. It'll be about 4 hours to 6 hours from now.
Yes, sir.
Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol. You must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department and contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. And Mr. Lopez, I'll let you know, I was kind of back and forth on this. You have had some good contact with probation. Looks like there's been a few hiccups recently. Oh, just one moment.
Yes.
My point just simply that I wanted to make is, I kind of like, look, things can kind of go one way or the other. I want to give you that chance.
It's because, let me tell
Go
you,
ahead.
the
Sure.
arresting officer, right? They arrested me, my friend, I think he does drugs. I don't do drugs. I'm not gonna lie, I smoke weed. But he told me, can you wash my bike, right? And I'm waiting, he's not coming. And the arresting officer comes, I get scared. So he grabs me, he throws me on the ground. And then he's like picking up straws and foils on the ground. And then he says, you're in possession of it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I have nothing on me, sir. He searches me, but they still arrest me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, Mr. Lopez, here's what I'll say. I mean, if you think that, you're innocent unless proven guilty, so you can explain all of that to your attorney. If you think the officer did something
I'm probation officer today, too, so.
Okay,
I'm gonna
great.
let her know.
Yeah, it is Sunday, so, do call them today, but, certainly tomorrow, and then make sure that you get in touch with probation, do what they're requiring of you to do.
Okay.
Okay? Also, Mr. Lopez, regarding the two Term 1 probation violations because of your new arrest, I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing December 2nd at 8:30 a.m.
Okay.
That's also at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I'm releasing you on your own recognizance in these cases as well.
Okay.
Same conditions and restrictions of release. Mr. Lopez, do you have any questions?
No, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. Good luck to you. Thank you. Danny Finley and then Siobhan Reed will be on deck. Good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Danny J. Finley,
Thank you, you, Mr. Finley. Mr. Finley, you're here on a Superior Court direct complaint arrest warrant. You are charged with 1 count of possession or use of dangerous drugs. That's a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession or use of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference December 9th, 8:30, 1 a.m. Preliminary hearing December 12th, 8:30, 1 a.m. That will be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Finley, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You're going to leave here in about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons. Mr. Finley, do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. Good luck to you.
Thank you, too.
You're welcome. Siobhan Reed and then James Wall will be on deck. Good evening, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Siobhan Reed, 2.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. Ms. Reed, you are here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations of 1 count of DUI, a Class 4 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference December 9th, 8:30, 1 a.m. Preliminary hearing December 12th, 8:30, 1 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I've appointed you an attorney. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. That means you will leave here in about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol, and you must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department. Ms. Reed, do you have any questions?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you. James Wall and then Yvonne Baker will be on deck. Good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
James Wall.
Thank you, Mr. Wall. Mr. Wall, you're here on a Kyrene Justice Court warrant for criminal trespass in the 3rd degree. You have an arraignment hearing December 11th, 9:30 a.m. at the Kyrene Justice Court. Mr. Wall, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. So you should be leaving here in about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on December 11th. You're also promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. Mr. Wall, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yvonne Baker, and then Fernando Daniel Equivel Reyes will be on deck. Good evening, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Yes, Yvonne Baker.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Ms. Baker, you are here on a Kyrene Justice Court warrant. The charge is 1 count of theft, control of property, a Class 1 misdemeanor. You have an arraignment hearing December 11th at 9:30 a.m. at the Kyrene Justice Court. Ms. Baker, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, so you are going to leave here in about 4 hours to 6 hours from now. Because you're being released, you're promising to go to court on all of your court dates. It looks like this is a failure to pay or comply with court orders. And again, the amount was, well, not again, but the amount was $100. So, Ms. Baker, if you're having any sort of an issue with paying that, I just highly recommend go down, talk to the judge. No judge wants you to have to go to jail, especially not over $100.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I've recently moved and I'm living in my van now, actually, and
Okay.
couldn't find the paperwork and
Yeah.
I lost my job
I see. No,
and I haven't been able to pay.
Yeah, no, that sounds really difficult, Ms. Baker. And so what I'd say is, in general, I mean, I can't always promise this, but 99 times out of 100, I mean, judges are understanding of that stuff, right? So if you lose your job, if you can't pay it, if you go talk to the judge and explain the situation, they can give you a deferment or get you on a much smaller payment plan or something like that. So I'm just saying that just to encourage you, even if you don't have the money when you go on the 11th, go and talk to the judge, explain to the judge what's going on. That way you don't have to worry about another warrant coming and interrupting your life again by you having to come down.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's happened before. That's why I lost all my clients. I spent 5 days in Maricopa and 2 days in Florence because the clerk didn't record that the warrant was quashed.
Oh,
and so I lost my cleaning clients and all the rest of them. Because anyway, it's been a rough. And my cat, was with me today whenever, so I can get her out of the.
Yeah, you should be able to get her.
I can get her now. It's right next door, right?
Yeah, I don't know if now, but I'm not sure how that works, but you
Okay.
can talk to the officers about that. They may know. You may have to wait till tomorrow morning. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how it works. You may be able to do it now, so hopefully you
thank
can
you.
do it as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you. It was just $100 fine?
It's just $100 bond. That's my point is, it's so small, I'm thinking you can talk to the judge. Again, I mean, there's a number of options the judge has,
Right.
but I don't want you to have to get arrested over $100 again.
Right.
So,
Wow. Okay, thank
and
you.
it's not a fine, well, maybe it's a fine, but it's just, failure to pay or comply with court orders,
Oh, okay, they put the bond at $100?
Correct.
Oh, okay, no, it was like more like $800 and some dollars, the fine.
Okay. Well, yeah, go down and talk to the judge and
Yeah, I
see if
will.
you can get it resolved.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Thank you, Ms.
finally
Baker.
got a new phone, yesterday, but I haven't got it connected yet because I'm trying to port my number in and get all my information on there. So I've been without a phone for a couple of weeks too, so I finally
Okay.
got one, so now I can,
Yeah, well, and also I'll say, I mean, because we'll give you the paperwork, but if for some reason you lose the paperwork, remember, it's the Kyrene Justice Court, so you can always
Right.
go down there or call down there. They can let you know when your hearing is.
okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms.
All right.
Baker. Good luck to you.
Thank you.